what is the difference between Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? The difference is, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a devotee. How is he a devotee? Because he is playing the role of Srimati Radharani. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna acting as Radharani, in the mood of Radharani, not acting, in the mood of Srimati. The way Radharani feels, Krishna is feeling that. What is Radharani's feeling? Radharani is a devotee. So, that is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. Krishna with the mood of Srimati Radharani. And appearing as a devotee, Krishna is teaching us how to become a devotee. In order to become a devotee, first of all, we have to know who is Krishna. Because unless and until we know Krishna, how can we become devotee of Krishna? So the first consideration is to know who Krishna is. So that is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing. Krishna is doing. Krishna is telling us who is Krishna. That Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. The question may arise, why Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Then the proofs are there. The proofs, he is actually giving the proof why Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not only reminding us that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is actually reminding us that Krishna is the source of, Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And from him, other expansions took place. For example, Krishna in Vaikuntha is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is from Vrindavan. His abode is Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, he is a son of Nanda Maharaj and Mother Jashoda. That is the Supreme Personality of God. And his proof is, he is not concocting something or he is not saying something just like that, because whenever we say something about spiritual topic, we have to give the proof. It is important because spiritual reality we cannot understand with our senses, with our intelligence. Like why it is this, proof is this. Right? So that's why it is a custom when we're discussing about spiritual topic, there has to be a proof. That is why Prabhupada wanted us to quote the verses as the proof. It's not my words. These are words from the scripture. So this is how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is establishing how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The proof is from the scriptures, and mainly Srimad Bhagavatam. And so in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pointing out that Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prior to that, people used to think that Narayan or Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The original Supreme Personality is Narayan. But Mahaprabhu pointed out, no. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And his first expansion is Balaram. Krishna's first expansion is Balaram. And from Balaram expands the Chaturbhuha. In Dwarka, just below Vrindavan is Dwarka. Because Krishna performed, he left Vrindavan, went to Mathura and then settled in Dwarka. So in Dwarka there are Vasudev, Shankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. They are the first expansion from Balaram. Vasudev, Shankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha, called Chaturbhuha. And from this Shankarshan expands the Narayan of Vaikuntha. And then from there, from that Shankarshan, Narayan, Chaturbhuha, Shankarshan expands Mahavishnu. And Vishnu is in relation to material nature, material creation. When Krishna gets involved in material creation, he becomes Vishnu. The first expansion of Karana-dakshay Vishnu. Vishnu, Mahavishnu is lying on causal ocean. Then as he is breathing, when you breathe underwater, what happens? Bubbles come. So when Mahavishnu is breathing in causal ocean, the bubbles that are generated from his breathing, each bubble is a universe. And then he enters into the universe. The inside of the universe was empty. So he enters into the universe and fills as Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And he generates water from his body, fills up the universe, half the universe. There he lies down on the bed of Anantashesh. And then from his navel comes out a lotus, and Brahma is situated in that lotus. So this is how creation actually takes place. And then in the universe there are many living entities, there are many, even many atoms. Then he enters into each living entity's heart as Kshirodakshay Vishnu. Vishnu who lies in milk ocean. So in each universe there is Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and then in each universe there is a milk ocean. Garbhodakshay Vishnu is lying in the Garbha ocean, and another Vishnu lies there, who is the super soul of all living entities, Paramatma. That is Kshirodakshay Vishnu. So this is how we get a very clear understanding of the creation. And we get to see who Krishna is. So that Supreme Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is by mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu we got to know who is the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. Now others didn't have that knowledge. Although there were many Vaishnava Sampradayas, there are 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas, they didn't have this understanding. Their understanding is Narayan is the Supreme. Now you can see how fortunate we are that we have been able to receive this understanding from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We got this understanding from We got this understanding because we became connected to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Others will have difficulty, naturally. They'll say, oh, our Sampradaya Acharyas are wrong. No, it's not wrong. But Krishna comes only at a certain time, and then only we get to know him. And that is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay? So appearing as a devotee, what did Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do? He taught us who is Krishna. And then he taught us how we should become a devotee of Krishna. What is the benefit of becoming a devotee of Krishna? We get an opportunity to go back to the spiritual sky, Golok Vrindavan. So that is the benefit. And now that we found this way, let's take full advantage of this. Does anybody want to come back to the material world again? Does anybody want to stay here forever? We don't mind staying here as long as we can render devotional service. Right? But not completing the mission this life and coming back, the danger is we may not have this opportunity to become a devotee. Who knows what will be the next birth? Why take a chance? So stick to this path till the end. And if you can stick to this path till the end, then the assurance is there that we'll continue in our next life. But if you deviate from this path, and then we die, then there is no way of knowing where we'll get our birth. Because we voluntarily gave up this path. So why should we be given the opportunity to come back to this path, since we voluntarily left it? Therefore, don't ever drift away from this path. Never ever drift away from this path. If you know, say if you want to go to, say you want to go to India, and the plane is there. You got the ticket, got the boarding pass, you went through the immigration, then you got onto the plane, Then if you decide, oh, I forgot to do something, there's something very important, and you jump out of the plane, run out of the immigration to do that job, then what's the guarantee that you'll get a chance to go back to India? Or what if you have got into the plane took off, and then when it's flying, you decide that you didn't do the right thing, and you jump out of the plane. Will anybody ever want to do that? So now that we found this path, let's stay on this path. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any question? Comment?
When you speak about going back to Godhead, like desiring to go back to Godhead, and Mama Janmane Janmanishare Bhavta Bhakti Rahita Vijay. So desiring to go back to Godhead is this immature stage?
No, I'm not saying going back to God in that way. I said, till the end you stay on this path.
Yeah.
If you stay on this path, then the possibility is there that in the next life he'll be on this path again.
My question is like, should we desire to go back to Godhead, or when you say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Mama Janmancha, whatever Krishna decide for us?
Yeah. In that respect, Prabhupada said that for when one is in a neophyte stage, then it's better that he desires to go back to Godhead. Meaning, do not want to stay here, I want to go there. You get the point? But then when you make advancement, then you see that this life is so wonderful, the life of devotee. Then you say that I wish I can remain in this path, life after life. And because when you see, my going back to Godhead doesn't depend upon me. It depends upon Krishna. So let Krishna decide when I'll go back. But as long as I am here in this material nature, let me come here again and again to render devotional service. And when Krishna wants to take me there, fine. Right? And the other consideration also is that when we go back to the spiritual world, what will you do?
Service.
So what we are doing here, we'll be doing there. So what's the difference? May not be laying floors and fixing ceilings. But he'll be able to cook there and make garlands and preach.
Preaching is there? Preaching opportunities are
Preaching means discussing. Tushyanti charavanti cha. Macchitta madgato prana bodhayanta parashparam kathayantascha madnityam. They speak about me all the time. Okay. So very good that you don't want to go back and stay here. What about you, Shyammohan? Okay. Any other question? Okay. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschatane Shrila Prabhupada Ki Jai.